This is the CEO of YouTube talking, and I'm only going to play a tiny bit of it, but I just find this whole thing incredible. Now, I suppose it depends what you call violent and whatever. It depends what you're going to call it. Because on here, they're talking about Russian trolls, they're talking about this, they're talking about things. And that they, you know, like there was one video they showed where someone was being beaten and they were a Syria prisoner. So did they think that that was bad or not while they're showing it? But then you say something or something else and then, well, all hell lets happen here. I just find it really incredible that this whole video is about them monitoring the videos coming in. And the only place they don't seem to monitor at all, independently, is the place that's giving it to us. I don't mean the people. The people are just viewing it, you know, making news about it, watching it, commenting on it, on what we're being given. I mean where it's coming from. The news stations and other people, you know, the politricks, big companies. They're not questioning and looking at any of those. Now, in here, she says there are thousands of people doing it and it's done manually, it's done with machines to dig out this stuff. Dig out our stuff to make sure we're not rebelling, I suppose. Because the only place they're not looking into is the places that's giving us the information. Not questioning it or looking at it at all. So, what I'm going to do is play you this tiny bit. Yeah, let's play the next bit then. The first bit's going to be about Nancy Pelosi trying to remove the drunken video. But it's amazing. Just listen to the wording after what we got with the what's, you know what's.
Every second there was a new upload. And so our teams around the world were working on this to remove this content. We had just never seen such a huge volume.
As I said before, if somebody does that to someone, yeah, it's not very nice, right? But it's one person, right? And even when they said that they've removed it, the video shows that it's still there and all this. So it's just a reminder, and they can't do it. They actually can't remove it all. But all this effort for one person, when actually it's happening to all of us all the time via them. And yeah, they're more worried about one politician.
And when you became CEO of YouTube, are you worried that these dark things are beginning to define YouTube?
I think it's incredibly important that we have a responsibility framework, and that has been my #1 priority. We're removing content that violates our policies. We removed, just in the last quarter, 9 million videos.
Well, I myself have been writing to YouTube since August. In fact, they're ignoring me now. In fact, they didn't even put my money over to the AdSense account at the end of the month. Not that it's very much, and I don't just do this for money, but you know, it's just, wow, we've got all these rules and regulations coming along and all this change when actually they could have been people friendly and put the other button in there. I mean, if graphic horrible things are done, then they can delete all of us, can't they, anyway, before we even get that far? You know, so they should have put that button in, because then they're saying that they don't trust us, that they only trust what they want to do. So they're manipulating it all in the first place. But there you've got that woman. The whole of that video is just a publicity stunt, and it's trying to tell you about who the baddies really are giving us her with numbers on her chest, right, just here under her neck, right, and no one has done anything. All YouTube want me to do is report it singularly, but come on, right? So I want this video to go to the CO, right? Anyway, there's another one there, glitching. This video is fake, a fake video of a fail. This isn't correct either, because the shadow would be here and everybody knows it's a layer. You can see that she isn't as old as she is. You can see he's an AI. You can see that that's been deep faked. This one here is the same thing where, you know, Donald Trump comes on and none of the phones are looking at the people. This one explains how they do the deep fake. This isn't correct, everybody. If they watch that one about how small the earth is and what they're saying there, and then we go on because now you can see which part it's going into now, and I've tried to explain about all that as well. They say what they say.
You recently tightened your policy on hate speech.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you wait so long?
Well, you know, we have had hate policies since the very beginning of YouTube.
But pretty ineffective.
What we really had to do was we had to tighten our enforcement of that to make sure that we were catching everything. And we use a combination of people and machines. So Google as a whole has about 10,000 people that are focused on controversial content.
I'm told that it is very stressful to be looking at these questionable videos all the time, and that there's actually counselors to make sure that there aren't mental problems for the people who are doing this work. Is that true?
It's a very important area for us.
So did you hear that? The staff get counselling and everything. Wow, this is amazing. I tell you what, the whole of the people need counselling for what they're doing to us. The people need the counselling. Not once do you ever hear them or her or they say that they are questioning or they're independent and they keep an eye on what's being given to them by the news and the politics and everything else. Not once did you hear that. No, it's only the people that need to be controlled, not what's coming in. Oh my God, that's just, don't you think that's disgusting?
But pretty ineffective.
What we really had to do was we had to tighten our enforcement of that to make sure that we were catching everything. And we use a combination of people and machines. So Google as a whole has about 10,000 people that are focused on controversial content.
Unscrambled channel started with crime and psychology. That's what this channel's about. So it really does depend what you call conspiracy. Conspiracy because the little people are not following and being controlled by what they're giving us. Or is the conspiracy from our point of view that everything they're giving us doesn't add up, doesn't look right, etc., etc. So it's a bit of a shame that the only controversy is the people, not what's actually being done to us.
I also heard that these monitors, reviewers, sometimes they're beginning to buy the conspiracy theories.
I've definitely heard about that, and we work really hard with all of our reviewers to make sure that, you know, we're providing the right services for them.
If we lived in a good place and everything was not the way it was, demonic and politics and what we've just said, I'd believe what she just said. But all you hear is that we're just squashing anybody that's going to wake up, because people have their own minds. You know, you're a platform for the people, supposedly, to have our voices. So if we see what's wrong, we see what's wrong. But that's not what she's saying. Well, we're stopping that then. So what does that tell you? Oh my goodness.
Susan Wojcicki showed us 2 examples of how hard it is to determine what's too hateful or violent to stay on the site.
So this is a really hard video to watch.
Really hard.
And as you can see, these are prisoners in Syria. So you could look at it and say, well, should this be removed because it shows violence, it's graphic,
But for seeing Syrian prisoners, it's actually not. For that reason, for them, no, we can show that because that's what they want us to see. So that's all right to show us those prisoners, but it's actually not okay to have your voice. And actually, like I said, they build something into the algorithm of your channel so that you know, they know where you are on the ladder of whether they like you or they don't. And so they sort of let us have our voice, but then when they don't like you, who's going to see you if you're put at the bottom? And so many of us, you know, can see that and have had that done to us. But it's okay to show prisoners, because that's the view that you want out, because actually you're controlling what we see. You're controlling all that we see. No, we don't want to see any of that stuff, really. But, you know, you put it in categories then. You put it in categories so that you find it that way. And if you're not interested, you don't. But, you know, what do? You take our freedom away by pretending it's us doing it, when actually it's the propaganda that's doing it. And you're giving us the propaganda. I just find this incredible.